AITA for moving out because I don't want to help my BF out with the rent? My boyfriend, 26M, and I, 24F, have been together for 3 years. We live in NYC and he makes over $200,000 per year, while I'm studying for my master's in social work and have no income. Right now I'm doing an unpaid, year-long internship 3 days per week, as well as classes 2 days per week. It's rare to get a paid internship in social work. Plus internships are mandatory. I spend 12 hours every day either working, studying, commuting, or in class. My only free days are on weekends, so I have no time for a paid job. My mom helps me financially by paying for my MetroCard and healthcare expenses, but everything else I rely on loans. Before I moved in with my boyfriend, there was a roach infestation in my apartment, so I'd stay over at his place a lot. My lease was ending soon, so he asked me if I wanted to live with him. At first I joked with that his living standards would go down since I can't afford a nice place. But he insisted on paying the rent until I finish grad school. Then we would split the rent based on income. I originally wanted to live in a cheaper place in Queens or Brooklyn, but my boyfriend likes his current place and insisted I move in since he would be the one paying the rent. So I moved into his $5,000 per month luxury condo in the city this August. All of a sudden my boyfriend recently started asking me to pay half the rent, $2,500 per month. I was confused because he was the one who wanted to pay the rent in full. Apparently he was talking to his friends and they all think it's weird that I don't pay rent and that I was a gold digger. I let my boyfriend know that I can't afford $2,500 per month and he said I was leeching off of him. So I told him that he should find someone within his social class so he doesn't have to worry about a gold digger like me leeching off of him. I stayed at my friend's place for a few days while figuring out what to do. I called my mom about my situation and she is willing to help me out, but the maximum she can afford for rent is $800. I found some places in Queens within the price range, less than 15 minutes away from the city and a bus ride away from my school, so I went to check them out. A couple days ago, I've been texting the landlord and my new roommates and I already signed the lease. I told my boyfriend about my new place and he got upset and asked me to stay. He said that he was willing to accept $800 per month instead of $2,500 per month if that's all I can afford. But I told him I don't want him changing his mind again and demanding more money from me in the future. He lived in this condo alone for several years, so it's not like he can't afford to live there without my help. I wouldn't mind splitting rent with him, but I would have to live in a more affordable place outside of Manhattan like I originally wanted. Apparently some of our mutual friends think I'm being unreasonable for moving out instead of talking to him and staying by paying the amount I can afford in rent, and that I shouldn't have let him pay my portion of the rent. NTA. They think you're being unreasonable? That's rich. He literally convinced you to move into his apartment, turning down your offers to find a cheaper place so you could contribute. The fact that his friends see you as a gold digger and don't appear to know the full story. The fact that you offered to pay and to find a cheaper place and he insisted otherwise is also a red flag to me and makes me question how he talks about you to his friends. Definitely NTA, and I would question why you would want to date someone who is so easily influenced by his friends' uninformed opinions of you. NTA. Your boyfriend has already proven that he's not trustworthy and prone to changing his mind on things that you thought were settled. Get out and leave him to commiserate with his rich friends. There's simply no point in talking to a person like that, since no stable arrangements can be made. You are absolutely NTA for making sure you have a place to live. TBH. Calling you a gold digger sounds like a way to hold something over your head and make you feel indebted to him. And the fact that he's upset you actually won't be relying on him after all is very telling. He misled you on the situation and you did the smart thing by handling your own business. If he can't be happy with you unless you need him for a place to stay, but is also going to use that over your head, he's not a very nice person. NTA. This should be a time for you to reevaluate whether you even want to be with this dude. He's easily manipulated by his friends and goes back on his word pretty quickly. NTA. Also, his demand is super weird. He obviously knew your situation and your finances. So where did he think you were going to suddenly get $3.5K from to contribute each month? Be wary of this guy. You now know what he will be like in future situations where finances are involved. You made the right call. He tried the old bait and switch. GTFO of there. This is the first flower in a red flag bouquet. Enjoy your new apartment and the peace of mind that comes with it. NTA. NTA. I think you are making the right choice here and have valid concerns. $3.5K is a substantial sum of money to put towards rent every month, even for the average working person. If you moved in with him under the pretense that you wouldn't be paying rent as long as you were in your program, then it isn't right for him to turn around and expect you to contribute after you've moved in. NTA. I wouldn't trust him that he's not going to change his mind on the $800 either. Given that he insisted you move in with him for free, knowing you couldn't afford to pay them, suddenly started calling you names over it. Personally, I'd be rethinking the relationship. But either way, you're not tough for not living with him. NTA. You had an agreement and he let his friends pressure him into changing the agreement. I get why you don't want to risk him changing his mind again. NTA. You need to look out for you. What is stopping this guy from changing his mind again? TBH, this is a huge red flag. NTA. Be very concerned that instead of talking to you about something that bothered him, he talked to his friends and they convinced him you were a gold digger. That kind of behavior, turning out and letting himself be convinced you are the worst. TM. Instead of discussing issues with you, tends to repeat itself. He's not secure enough to make his own decisions and stick with them. NTA. And he is Ta. You guys agreed he would pay the rent until you finished grad school, and then the rent would be split based on income. He is pretty weak-minded to let his friends change his mind after a conversation. Your schedule is full with an unpaid internship and study. You're not lounging around the house doing nothing. His friends are assholes for calling you a gold digger. He's a massiver for allowing it and then going back on the agreement. I think being accused of a gold digger would be it for me. You are smart to make arrangements quickly, and I like your style that you didn't try to argue with him. Obviously money is a big deal to him and you won't be able to keep up with a social worker salary. Anyway, I would back away from this relationship. NTA. Don't move back in with him. Live on your own and enjoy not being jerked around by him. If you stay, this will come up again. Get while the getting is good. NTA. NTA. Get out while the getting is good. This guy is testing you, and the longer you stay with him, physically and emotionally, he will use it as leverage. But it's not the amount that you can afford. It's the amount that your mother can afford. And that's not fair to her. BF offered his place to share with you. With him picking up all of the rent, he moved the goalposts on you. Listening to his friends was more important than you. NTA. NTA. Not only did he change his mind from his friends insulting you, but expecting anyway. Even someone with a full-time job to pay 3.5K a month for an apartment they didn't want is crazy and impossible for a lot of people. NTA, why are BF's friends sticking their noses into your lives in the first place? Why is your BF discussing his finances with them? And yeah, you did good by leaving. BF proved he'd change his mind on a dime solely on what his friends say. If his friends see you as a gold digger, they will always try to change his mind. And for whatever reason he is susceptible to this. Perhaps he has some self-esteem issues he needs to work on, and perhaps these people aren't his friends. But that is not your problem. Do right by yourself. NTA.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.